Have you ever been unboxing the latest inventory for your business and you just had to keep something for yourself? I mean, that's one of the greatest benefits of owning your own business, right? You get first dibs on everything. But from a bookkeeping and tax perspective, you want to make sure that you are handling these situations appropriately. But how exactly do you do that? Well, in today's episode, we're going to cover my recommended method for handling the situation to make it clean and simple for your bookkeeping and taxes. Let's dive in. Hey there, and welcome to the Boutique Bookkeeper Show, where we take the mystery out of your money and make your numbers make sense. I'm Megan, virtual bookkeeper and bookkeeping coach, and I love helping female boutique owners just like you finally feel confident about the financial side of your business. If you're tired of feeling anxious every time you have to open QuickBooks, or if you're making sales but constantly left wondering, where did all that money go? You're in the right place. We'll cover all things bookkeeping and taxes, all in plain English, so you can be less intimidated by the numbers and finally start to use them to help you grow a profitable boutique. So, if you're ready to stop avoiding this whole numbers thing and start keeping more of the money you make, grab your coffee and your calculator and let's dive in. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Boutique Bookkeeper Show. I'm Megan, and today we're going to be talking about what you should be doing anytime you want to keep some of the newest inventory for yourself. I'm going to start out here by sharing my recommended method to help keep things simple for your bookkeeping and tax records, and then I'm going to dive into my reasoning why I recommend doing this way, along with some of the complications that can come up if you choose to handle it differently. So, what do you do when you want to keep some inventory for yourself? My recommendation is for you to actually buy that inventory from your store at the wholesale cost plus any applicable sales tax. And I get it, you might be thinking, well, if I already own the inventory, why do I have to buy it again? And honestly, it's a fair question. However, the reality is that your business owns the inventory, not you personally. And if you have an LLC, it's very important that you act as if your store is a completely separate thing from you personally so you don't void that LLC protection. So when you purchase that item at cost from your store, you're simply just reimbursing your business. And that way, you're able to keep your books clean and your taxes in compliance without any extra hassle. And speaking of extra hassle, if you choose to simply just take the item for yourself without paying for it, makes it sound like you're stealing it, but you guys know what I mean. But if you choose to do that, there are two separate items that you need to be aware of and track for your bookkeeping and tax purposes. The first thing is use tax. So as a retailer, your business has the ability to buy inventory from wholesalers tax-free or sales tax-free. But when that inventory gets sold to the end customer, sales tax is applied depending on your state laws. And if you decide to take a taxable item for personal use without actually purchasing it, now you are responsible for filing and paying use tax on that item. And use tax is just a way for states to collect tax on items that were bought out of state or from wholesalers that were then kept for personal use. However, if you simply purchase the item from your store and pay sales tax at that time, it makes it easier and simpler because you're already used to filing sales tax returns, and that way it just keeps everything consistent and it avoids the complication of also needing to file a use tax return as well. The second item that you need to be aware of if you choose to just keep inventory items for yourself is you are going to be required to track the cost of the inventory that you've kept for yourself throughout the year. So when you are calculating and reporting your cost of goods sold or your COGS on your tax return, it's expected that you back out any inventory or subtract out any inventory that was taken for personal use, so you're not actually allowed to deduct it as a cost of goods sold expense. There's a line right on the tax return in the COGS calculation section specifically for this, so that means that you need to track any of the cost of these items carefully throughout the year, which can just be an added headache. It's just another thing for you to keep track of throughout the year. However, if you buy the items at cost and ring it up in your point of sale as a normal transaction, there's no need for extra tracking. Since you've purchased the inventory, your business can now fully deduct the cost of that inventory as cost of goods sold expense, and you don't have to worry about adjusting your cost of goods sold calculation later on. So if you've ever opened a box of new inventory and thought, yep, definitely keeping this, just remember the cleanest way to handle it is for you to actually buy it from your store at cost plus any applicable sales tax. It keeps your books simple, your taxes clean, and it saves you from a lot of extra tracking later on. And by handling it this way, it's treated just like any other customer purchase in your bookkeeping records, and there's nothing special about it. There's nothing else you have to do. So that's all that I have for you today. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode. I'll see you there. Hey there, and thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope that I shared something that helped you feel just a little bit more confident in understanding all the numbers in your boutique business. If you found this helpful, don't forget to go and leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. That's the best way for other boutique owners just like you to find this podcast so I can help them feel just a little bit more confident in their numbers as well. If you have any questions about what you heard today, hop on over to Instagram and send me a DM at Finding Freedom Financial. I'll be back again real soon, but in the meantime, go implement or take action on something you learned today. I promise your future self will thank you.